I do anything, I just want to let people know I have not actually seen Xmen Apocalypse yet. I probably won't for a while because I just don't have the financial capabilities to go see movies near as much as I would want. But that's neither here nor there. Now this is more of my thoughts about everything that I've watched and all the information that I've read online and stuff. Now, I'm not a stickler for spoilers. They don't bother me at all. I do not mind reading about a movie before I watch it. It never ever makes me want to see a movie less. So I don't know. I'm weird about that. But this will have spoilers because I've read spoilers, and so I know everything that happens in this movie. So I just want to warn people now, if you haven't seen X-Men Apocalypse, neither have I, but I've spoiled it for myself already. I don't want to spoil it for you unless you're okay with it like I am. I understand that a lot of people aren't, but I'm weird, so maybe you're weird like me. Anyway, so this is my little rant, my thoughts on X-Men Apocalypse, and apparently I've seen most of it on TV, actually. I've read a bit on the internet, and it wasn't really that hard to put pieces together from what I saw in the trailers and the TV commercials, and, you know, you understand what's going to happen. The only thing that I didn't know until I read it online was that apparently just at the end, Apocalypse is defeated by Jean Grey using the Phoenix Force, and I don't know. I'm 35 years old now. I have been reading X-Men since I was about 8 or 9. I'm not even sure, but like when I was reading them, now don't get me wrong, I was not reading the first run of them. I was reading a comic called X-Men Classic. And what it was is reprintings with, I think, different colors, but it was basically the same comics of the original X-Men, except they were just reprintings of them. So, I mean, like, you could get X-Men 1 really easily in a reprint, but you couldn't get the original because the original was worth a ton of money. I'm not even sure how much they're worth anymore. In the 90s, when I was keeping track of that kind of thing, some comics could be worth a lot of money. But anyways, back to what I was saying about the X-Men story. I followed the X-Men story so closely. Now, I'm talking, like, when I got into it, it was the new X-Men, kind of. Now, what the new X-Men at that point consisted of is the team most of us know from the 90s TV show, I think, actually, with a few exceptions. There was Storm, I believe Warpath, Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is bittersweet for me because he's my favorite character. That beginning scene of X-Men 2 was the best thing ever. I couldn't believe they did a scene with my favorite X-Men like that. It made the rest of the movie, it really forgave a lot of the rest of the movie for me. And I wasn't planning on seeing X-Men 3 just because I heard things about it and I went, oh no, what's going on? Why are they doing this? And then I heard that they had just scrapped getting Nightcrawler back. That Alan Cummings, the guy who played him in X-Men 2, just wasn't coming back. The makeup was too bad, and yeah, and I ended up not seeing that movie until like 5 years later. It was on TV one night. I'm like, oh, how bad can it be? It's on cable TV now. It's free. Oh, it was bad. Oh, just oh my goodness. Like, you know, the Phoenix story. It's one of the main stories I read in X-Men Classics. Now, this is, I'm going to do another video pleading with Fox about this now. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of people that enjoy these X-Men movies, but what I think they need to do, and this is gonna, like, this would be difficult, but if Fox can just Fox, please let Marvel do an X-Men movie. Please let them do an X-Men movie in the same universe as everything they have right now. And my hope, what I think could happen is Marvel could make the movies that they have right now the optimistic, PG-rated movies, and have all the movies about mutants be really, really dark. Because I think that makes sense. Because even though, okay, quick disclaimer: spoilers for um, Captain America: Civil War here. Okay, so this is something tying into Civil War. Okay, and a lot of the MCU universe movies. Um, in Civil War, they have the Slovak or the Accords in this movie that would kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's like what mutant registration is in all the X-Men comics, and they're just now saying to superhumans, yeah, we think you guys need to be monitored. Whereas in the X-Men comics, from the very beginning of me reading them, humans hate them and want them to be like put into camps basically by themselves. Like what? So how long have the Avengers been messing crap up? Like they even go over that in the movie, and I'm not taking away from it because I love it. But the thing is X-Men could be so much more dark than that. I think they could do a whole R-rated X-Men, like just not like and have it be dark and them being hated and just clashing, and then bring them together in a movie that's just it's oh it would be so cool. Anyways, back into the thoughts on the X-Men movie. Now, there's been a few things that I just can't. It bugs me. Like it really bugs me. I'm very, very nitpicky about X-Men, and I don't know. Like the first movie, I gave it a lot of slack, but then it just got worse and worse. I mean, don't be wrong. Like I said, I loved X-Men 2. That first scene was really good, but no, then the story went just right out of the ballpark. I mean, like I don't even X-Men 3 was just it was so bad. I mean, they literally made First Class. Oh no, Days of Future Past to erase X-Men 3. Like, okay, and then that was a really big weird point for me because I remember that storyline too. And in the comic book, um, his future past made way more sense because instead of Kitty or Shadowcat or whatever codename you know her by, Kitty Pryde, who has the ability to phase through objects, suddenly she develops the secondary mutation of being able to project someone's mind back in time. Um, no, no, that's not how it works at all. In the comic book, there's a whole other character involved, and that's her ability. And they just decided to completely push her aside, and it just made no sense. I just didn't understand. Because in the comic book, what happens is she goes actually the other mutant who big surprise. This is a spoiler for X-Men comics if you don't know your X-Men comics history. Now, I will probably get fact checked and destroyed by this, but Rachel Summers is, or no, it's not Rachel Gray. I'm pretty sure it's Rachel Summers, who in the future of the X-Men comics has been subjugated and turned into what's called a hound. Now, these hounds are mutants that mutant hunters hold on leashes and use to find other mutants. Because being Rachel Summers, she has inherited her mother's part of her mother's abilities, being telepathy. So she can hunt down other mutants using that, and it's a whole brainwashing thing, really dark, like nothing that they put on anything. Like I mean, like it would just be so amazing to see this. It would be almost like the Terminator future. Think of that, but with people riding giant mechanical dogs like Ahab. There's this guy named Ahab who's half cyborg, and he has such a hard on for hating mutants and killing them. He just they're hunted down and killed. It really was a really bad future, and they literally brainwashed this girl and turned her into a hound to hunt mutants. And a lot of people who were family to her, future versions of the X-Men, she helped them hunt down and kill. Oh yeah, that's the other thing this future's full of. Sentinels. Now, I have not seen them do a Sentinel correctly yet on anything at all. Now, that last X-Men movie, no, I don't know if it was the last one, or whatever one where Magneto takes over the Sentinels, which made no sense to me at all. How can you have magnetism powers those are strong. Don't get me wrong. It's crazy badass, but it doesn't allow you to reprogram Sentinels just by blowing metal into the. It just made no sense. But anyways, in when I remember Sentinels, I remember the thought of a Sentinel. Just imagining walking down a street in a city and turning, and just seeing this gigantic, human purple, kind of humanoid, but just devoid of emotion thing, just walking down the street towards you, like going after you, because this thing literally like, can uh, scan and can tell, like in a group of people, if there's anything right there, and basically it's going to either try and it either captures you, or if you resist at all, it basically kills you. And these things were responsible for a lot of deaths of Marvel characters. It was pretty violent, and I remember there being a poster on a wall of all the X-Men, and you could see all the crosses through the names and how few of them were left. It was pretty insane. But anyways, the point of the story, back to it, I kind of drifted there a little. Just, I don't know. I'm, I'm on my like fourth energy drink. This is going to be an interesting night. But anyways, what I was saying though is to try and prevent all this from happening, they managed to capture Rachel Summers and deprogram her enough that they can talk to her again, and they realize she's got an ability that her mother didn't have, and that's sending someone's consciousness back to their younger self. And what she does is Shadow Cat and Kate Pride, who is Kitty's now adult form in future, volunteers. So Rachel uses her ability on Kitty, and the Kitty in the past, who is just like a rookie X-Men at this point, all of a sudden gets taken over by her adult persona, and that sparks a whole thing where this adult persona is trying to stop the future from happening. But then somehow the Phoenix Force actually gets involved. Literally, try, it, Rachel becomes its avatar, its host for a while, because it senses the link, it senses the connection between Jean Grey and Rachel Summers, because they share DNA. Now it's Rachel Summers because I believe it wasn't actually Jean Grey that had Rachel. I think it may have been a clone. I'm not sure if that clone was Madeline Pryor or not, but that's a whole other big story there. And it just leads into the fact that no one's done the Phoenix story right. No one's done it even close to correct. And it makes me so sad. It really does. Because the Phoenix story in the comics was so good too. But anyways, back to Days of the Future Past. Somehow the Phoenix is involved. It gives its power or something to Rachel Summers and inhabits her, but it allows her to actually go back in time in physical form too. And she ends up in the past, and like there with her mother, well, person, the person her mother's a clone of, and her dad, and no one knows it, and they don't know her, and they're really awkward around her. It's really odd, and I think it would be really cool to see that on film. Like, how would you act? Seriously. Like, you're like, wow, this is my dad, and this isn't my mom, this is the person my mom was cloned from, and they're still together. My mom hasn't actually been cloned yet, and wow, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. And so was everyone else. It was very awkward. But yeah, anyways, Days of Future Past didn't go anywhere near that, and it was really bad. I just why? Oh. But anyways, now back to what I know about X-Men Apocalypse. Now, this ties into another X-Men storyline a little bit, just for a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Perspective. Okay, in the X-Men comics, at one point, to make it really quick, Professor X's son, his mind was broken. It gets fixed. He realizes he's been a jerk to the X-Men and his dad. So to try and help his dad out, he uses his powers to go back in time and tries to kill Magneto in the past before he becomes Magneto, and therefore save his dad a lot of trouble. Now the thing is when he goes to do this, Magneto and Professor X, Eric and Charles are friends. So to save his friend, Charles jumps in the way and gets killed instead of Magneto. this changes the entire future of the Marvel Universe with something called Age of Apocalypse. And Age of Apocalypse is another, think Terminator Future times 100. Apocalypse has killed all the humans. Mutants are now, most of them are hunted, but a lot of them have also sided with Apocalypse, because Apocalypse's version of future is that only the strong survive. And just this whole thing is that just showcases what Apocalypse could do, and what if the X-Men weren't there to stop him. And what bugs me, and I've seen video of it in trailers and on TV commercials now, of Apocalypse destroying cities and stuff like that, and there doesn't seem to be any, it looks like a lot of people died, but I don't know, X-Men, that's one thing X-Men never seems to have taken into continuity, is the fact that a lot of people, innocent people, have been probably killed in their fights. That's one of the things I really respect about the Marvel Universe movies, is that they're actually taking into account that, but that's neither here nor there. But, and, I don't know, just the freaking, the Horseman. I mean, the only Horseman that really made sense to me was Magneto because of his power. Um, Young Storm, I guess. She's very strong, but she really doesn't come into her powers until quite a bit later from what I remember. Now, some of it's vague for me, some of it's very, very fresh in my memory, because, I don't know, just some things stuck. Like the whole Phoenix storyline and how it started, I remember that vividly. Storm's story, I'm not 100% sure about. I know at one point she was in Africa being worshipped as a goddess, because of the fact she could make it rain for them whenever she wanted. And in the African Sahara, from what I know, it's a pretty dry place. The ability to do that would make you pretty popular. But her abilities, I mean, she can do anything with weather. And if you really know what you're doing, you can do a lot with that. But so she kind of makes sense. Now, the version that I've seen of Archangel, where he has the metal wings and he's using them and stuff. Now, what the hell did they do? Why does he have hair? I'm confused. Or maybe if he, in the original comic, I remember Angel gets captured by Apocalypse, and then Apocalypse cuts his wings off, and then gives him metal wings instead of his original wings, and brainwashes him into the next millennium, basically, and he becomes literally the Angel of Death. Now, in this form, his face is blue. He looks almost pale, like a corpse, and he's got a hood that goes over and makes him look almost bald, kind of like me, except for no facial hair, and a very angry looking, and his teammates almost don't recognize him, because before that he was blonde haired, blue eyes, and now he looks like a pale, blue eyed, metal winged, messed up Angel of Death. But in this movie, he still seems to have blonde hair, except for the fact that it's shaved up to here, and I'm like, he looks really bad, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I'm really, really confused. But then, most of all, I'm confused by Psylocke, because in the comics, it's not until quite a bit later Psylocke gets the actual uh, psychic katana. And the key word here, people, is psychic. Now, when she's first in the X-Men, she doesn't even have a psychic katana. She has a psychic knife. And don't get me wrong, it is psychic. It cannot just pierce metal or anything like that. What it can pierce is your freaking mind. She was a ninja. That's what she was trained as. She was a British ninja. Her brother is Brian Braddock, or yeah, I think it's Brian. Oh man, terrible, because this is all Excalibur. He's a superhero named Captain Britain, and he's one of the founding members of the British superhero group Excalibur, which is one of my favorite comics of all time because Nightcrawler was in it, and I followed a lot of stuff with Nightcrawler. But anyways, she was trained as a ninja, and she was a psychic, nowhere near the level of Jean Grey, mind you, but she was a pretty cool psychic. Now the scary thing is her powers combined with the ninja training meant she could sneak upon anyone almost, and then she stabbed them in the brain with this psychic dagger. And what it did was it literally broke your freaking mind. You went down into a heap for a while, and it was a good while before you were okay again. It was the collection of her psychic abilities to harm you, concentrated in her fist, and she just jammed it into people's heads, and they just went down into a twitching heap. It was pretty cool, but like it says, it's psychic. But the thing is one of the first things I remember seeing about her in this movie, she's cutting a car in two with her psychic katana. Now, I don't get it. She didn't really have telekinesis from what I remember. Yet somehow this car that gets hurled at her, I'm not sure, I don't even know who threw the car. Beats me, but because the only person I can think of might be Magneto, but that makes no sense because it looks like at that point he's still in one of the four horsemen, but I don't know, that's not, anyways. She shouldn't be able to do that. She should have just jumped on top of the car and ninja'd behind the person who threw the car at her, and he's like, oh, where is she? And then he gets stabbed in the brain. But I don't know. I'm nitpicking. Yeah, it is what it is. But the thing is honestly, to do an Apocalypse movie right, they would have had to have gone so much more dark than they did, and it's not going to happen right now. Not until the moons, the planets align, and Fox goes, you know what? We're going to give the fans, the people who love these storylines, we're going to give them what they want and give the movie back to Marvel and let them make it. Even if reach a collaboration, Marvel, please try and reach out to them. Do whatever you have to, please, because you know what? Sony did it with Spider-Man in Civil War, and guess what, guys? It's working. It works already. He was in the movie for like 25 minutes, maybe tops. Not even. And it was the best thing anyone's ever seen. Come on, Fox. Please. And make it dark, please. Deadpool is a really good example. And Deadpool was funny dark. I want to see an X-Men be dark. I want to see the X-Men hear about the Accords and be like, why can't we get that kind of deal? Because a lot of people just wanted the X-Men to be registered, literally a registry of people and their abilities. So, I mean, like, and it was so weird. I think there was an honest trailer thing about this, how people were cheering for the Avengers, yet in the X-Men movie they're protesting mutants. And in the comics, that's really what it is exactly. Because for some reason the Avengers are complete. Because the Avengers, to me, I didn't follow Avengers like I followed X-Men. I think that's why I'm a lot more forgiving of any changes the Avengers have really made, because to me, it's not messing around with my childhood. When you mess around with X-Men, you're messing around with my damn childhood. You don't do that. Please don't do that. X-Men 3 was so bad. So bad. It was worse than Batman and Robin. And yeah, I'll go there. I mean, really. He took the crown away from you. It just that. Oh, I don't remember who made that review, but whoever they were, that you had the worst superhero movie, and then X-Men 3 just took it away from you. Oh, Juggernaut. Oh, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. What? What? No, no, no. Juggernaut was American. Juggernaut was Professor X's stepbrother. Juggernaut got his powers through magic. I'm really looking forward to Doctor Strange, by the way. I'm hoping it's really good. But anyways, please, please, please. I'm gonna do another video about specifically about X-Men, and about, like, I think they could do at least 6 to 9 movies in 3 to 4 movie arcs, and it would be amazing to see, because then they could somehow, if they, I know they couldn't do them fast enough, But if they could tie them into somehow into the Marvel continuities, it would be amazing. But anyways, this has been my review and my rant about X-Men and X-Men Apocalypse and about what happens at the end. Apparently, yeah, Jean Grey goes Phoenix and just destroys Apocalypse, which makes no sense at all. By the way, it really doesn't make any sense because I mean, don't get me wrong, Jean Grey's strong. She's very, very strong psychically, but she it's not her that has that kind of ability. When it's not she never really becomes Phoenix. From when I was reading the comics, like she almost dies, and the Phoenix takes her decides to take her place almost. It wants to become human for a while. It's a cosmic entity. It sees her. She's basically sacrificing herself for her friends. I'll go over this more in my other video. And the Phoenix sees that and then gets interested and puts her away to heal because she got hurt real bad and becomes her and kind of messes her head up. Pardon me. Because she's not used to the emotions and stuff. She thinks she's Jean Grey, but she's not. And eventually she gets corrupted and he goes nuts. And Phoenix augments her abilities. It has everything she has times like 1,000, and it's really scary. During the Dark Phoenix storyline, at one point she flies into the middle of the sun and makes it go supernova just to kind of recharge her batteries a little. She kills an entire freaking solar system just for a little boost. That's the kind of dark we're talking about here, Dark Phoenix. So, X-Men 3 and apparently Xmen Apocalypse, please don't do this. I mean, I know, okay, now this is the thing. If they do a X-Men Phoenix in the next movie or whatever, it can't be as bad as X-Men 3. But please just don't do it. Please. Anyways, this is Awkward Hairy Shoulders, middle-aged awkward hairy shoulders. Say, saying again, this has been my video, my rant. Basically, all my videos have turned to rants. This has been almost a full half an hour though. This is a really good rant about all the information and reviews and spoilers I've read about X-Men Apocalypse and just I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it was near dark enough. And they brought back Nightcrawler, my favorite character, and it still doesn't look like it's still not enough for me to really. I don't know. I just want to see them redo it. Anyways, I'm gonna do another video about that, but then awkward hairy shoulders out.